Alright, we have game 3 here, and we have an additional landmark museum, and I'll quickly scan for black market, and I don't find black market, so that is going to considerably shorten the length of this game. Museum awards you for having 2 points, very unique card in your deck, so you can imagine how that works with black market. Anyways, what is on the board is a lot of villages and enough draw to do things with. For things to do, there's farmers market. You could get points off of farmers market, and really outside of that there's money. I don't think taxman as well could put in some work, maybe if you can draw well, of course. I don't really think you want to pick up a pirate ship. So my opponent opens with the haunted woods. Seems reasonable, and I have a choice here of opening with a silver or an oracle alongside my ironworks, right? There's a nice 2 piles there, oracle and fortress, that I would love to gain lots of, especially with the triumphal arc around. Maybe I could get my points from those 2 piles. We'll see. So definitely the ironworks. I go for the silver because I want to try to hit 5 and pick up a haunted woods of my own. So haunted woods is going to be a main source of draw just because it draws a little bit more than the oracle, and also because it attacks your opponent. So my opponent played his haunted woods here, which means I am going to have to stick this estate back on top of my deck. Do think it's worth it to pick up the haunted woods at that cost. And if you've noticed, we have no way to trash coppers or estates out of our deck, so most notably the estates remain, which means haunted woods is always live. You can't play out all your treasures and evade the attack that way. So border village into haunted woods for my opponent seems good, seems like what you want to do here. I'm going to play my first ironworks and pick up a fortress because I have a couple terminals in my deck, and that actually influences my decision here. I am going to top deck these cards because I know my haunted woods is in the back 7. Even if I don't see it, I will have at least $5 to pick up another haunted woods, for example. So I don't really think any good could come from me discarding these 2. The best thing that I would draw is maybe my silver and a copper, and I pick up a fortress, but I tell myself it's not worth the risk to do that. Just cut your losses. And I think my opponent had a woods down as well. No, he didn't, but I decided to just cut my losses there and go for the safe play of the haunted woods here. So a second ironworks for my opponent, and that actually looks quite good. Like I said, those piles are excellent, and when those are done, there's a bunch of farmers markets you can gain and play, hopefully by that point anyway. So this is a nice turn for my opponent, double haunted woods, and this is what you want to kickstart things really for you, right? You want to get more than one haunted woods into play, and then once you have that, you probably will be able to put 2 more in play, and then you can get 3 in play each turn, that kind of thing going. Right? Just 1 is good, it's like buying an expedition, but if you have 2, that really jumpstarts you, I think, to doing more things. However, my opponent has no more haunted woods in his deck. I think we both have 2 at this point, so he won't be able to stick any in play next turn. So that's something to note, especially when buying things, because I'm guaranteed to not have to top deck anything on my opponent's next turn. So here I am just going to try to establish that chain, right? I have 1 haunted woods, I drew from it, sorry, and now I found another haunted wood. So I'm just going to try to keep that chain going. If I could get 1 in play every turn, that would be good, not just for the attack, but for my, draw throughout the deck. And then hopefully I could get 2 in play 1 turn, and then that'll springboard me off to getting 2 in play the following turn, and so on and so forth, right? So alongside that, we have the oracle to supplement our draw, and I think the oracle is going to put in pretty good work in this deck, especially with these large surplus of actions. So there's lots of places here where you could get triumphal arc points, and it's very difficult to track in this sort of game because you not only have to track for yourself, you have to track for your opponent as well to know, okay, Can he get 6 points off 2 ironworks gains if he gets from this pile? Shoot, I wasn't paying attention. So it's difficult to keep track of. I have a lot of problems keeping track of my own, much less for my opponent. So he goes here for border village into a festival at this point. I expected that to be a haunted woods, but he goes for the festival. Um, that's fine. You do want a source of plus buy at some point. For me, I had the idea that okay, if I get enough woods and oracles in my deck, I'd be able to draw everything, and then I can ironworks gain a farmer's market and use that for my plus buy. And that would also set me up for farmer's market shenanigans. Again, with the haunted woods attack out there, I would really like to score using the arc and farmer's market before going for green cards in my deck, because those are gonna get stuck on top of your deck and it's gonna be very, very bad for you. As is, we have 3 and I'm trying to play around it, hopefully using Oracle to skip past estates. So there, I have 2 estates on top of my deck and I'm gonna draw them because I have a haunted woods into play. I can't do anything about that. And my opponent is kinda stable at this point. He is stable in the sense that he's sticking at least 1 haunted woods into play every turn here. So a couple ironworks gains for my opponent before he triggers the shuffle. What was it? Something, fortress and oracle, probably. That's what I would do anyway. And he is able to draw through quite a bit of his deck at this point, and he's able to stick the festival down, which is a big deal because he actually comes up with 10 here and 2 buys. It seems like double haunted woods is good, bandit camp haunted woods is good. I wouldn't take another festival at this point, just because you're trying to set up the draw as best as possible, especially because you have to deal with the whole 3 estates on top of your deck scene. But my opponent goes for the border village here into another haunted woods, I believe, and just picks up a fortress as well. So my turn here, I'm looking a little shaky here, right? My opponent is able to come up with 10 and 2 buys. I don't think I've come up with 10 period for this entire game. Maybe the early haunted woods helped him with that, not sure, but this is the situation we're in, so we have to play from here. I believe he has 1 more oracle than me too, so he is able to draw a little bit more than me, and he now just picked up 1 more haunted woods than me, so we'll see how things go here. I'm gonna pick up a fortress of the oracle, and here I'm able to finally play 2 haunted woods, which is pretty good for me, and I am not gonna buy anything. It's not worth buying the oracle to stick what 2 or 3 estates on top of my deck. I choose not to do so and just draw 5 fresh cards, especially with the 2 haunted woods coming in on my next turn. I entertain hopes of having a decent turn, a good turn, one at least as good as my opponent has had last turn and is looking to have this turn here. So a couple more haunted woods coming down for my opponent here, and picking up border village and haunted woods. So I draw into a couple of estates, which is, you know, not desirable. There's no way to discard estates here either, which is too bad, but oh well. I play this oracle first before the fortresses because I want to try to clear junk off the top of my deck and then have the fortresses potentially draw better cards. That's my idea. Here maybe I should have played this ironworks first before triggering the shuffle, or potentially triggering the shuffle, but I saw that after and decided, you know what, just don't trigger the shuffle at all. There are a lot of good cards at the end here. I don't want it to all miss. So here I'm setting up my little chain here. I had 2 haunted woods in play last, and I have 2 here, and I am gonna pick up another one here. So I now have a total of 5, but I expect my opponent to pick up the last one. So that actually will be our most plentiful action. I think for both of us, we have 5 haunted woods. So it means we could get our arc up to 15 points each, depending on if we could find another pile to get up to 5 copies of, for example. Shouldn't be too hard, but the situation is that we're both going after the piles, which means that running, and we have to entertain thoughts of the end game at this point. So there's a couple border villages left and a couple oracles and just 4 fortresses. We have 2 ironworks each. He has a plus buy. I don't have a plus buy. That festival is looking very, very good right now for my opponent. Actually so good that I want one here for the end game just to give myself some options. So I'm gonna pick up a festival here, just a plain festival I believe. I don't want to pick up the border village and make it easier for my opponent to pile out. I actually think at this point in the game he's way ahead. I think he has the lead in the arc points right now. And he also has the festival and he's been drawing well for longer than I've been drawing well. Even that last turn wasn't as good as my opponent's previous turn. So I was fully expecting at this point for him to just go double border village into double oracle and finish the game. But when I thought a little bit more about it, I realized he doesn't have money to buy double border village even if he draws his whole deck. He has the 1 silver and the 1 festival and 7 coppers, which puts him at a total of 11. He could use the ironworks to gain money. That is potentially a thing that he could do, but that'll be very difficult to pull off, especially considering none of us have actually drawn our entire decks yet, and he actually doesn't come up with the 12 that he needs here. So to me, it was like I was given a new lease on the life here, a chance back into the game, because he only had 11 real money. He would need to gain at least a silver off one of his ironworks. So he comes up here with, I'm not sure exactly how much money he comes up with here, and the play he makes here is quite interesting. He uses one of his ironworks at this point to draw a card because he gains an estate. So my initial reaction to that was, okay, I'm happy to see that. It means my haunted woods will affect you more, but at the same time the end of the game is near, so maybe it won't have that bad of an impact on his deck. I'm not sure what he went looking for with that ironworks play. Maybe it was just points, maybe he was looking for something, I'm not sure. Then he used his second one to gain a farmer's market, so he's signaling his intention to pick up museum points. So he gets 2 points from picking up a farmer's market. And here he is going to pick up a single border village and gain a bandit camp with it. So there's 2 points in that for him of the bandit camp. Of course, I'm not at all tracking the triumphal arc. I don't know what his second most plentiful action is. It actually looks like the border village looking on screen. He has 4 of those, and if he picks up border village here, it'll be 5, matching the amount of haunted woods he has. So he's up to maximum with his arc, and I guess that's why he's turning off for museum points, because he can't improve his arc anymore. Right, so now that leaves me with an interesting position at the start, and an estate as well. That leaves me with an interesting position at the start of my turn. So I also only have $11. I could use the ironworks for money, but that remains to be seen if I want to do so at all. So what I was thinking is that, okay, I've been in the back for this whole game. I'll be happy to take a tie. How do I see the tie? Well, I can gain 2 oracles with my ironworks. That's 6 points, because that'll bring oracle up to my haunted woods level, 5 each. Then with my 11 money and 2 buys, I will buy a border village, gain a duchy, and then buy a duchy, and that should give me the 12 points to come level with him, because I'm currently 12 points behind. So that was my calculation. I need to see all the money in my deck plus the festival to do so. Hopefully the oracles could help me out with that. So that's what I was thinking. I was trying to find a way around the tie. If I could get a win, obviously you would take the win, but in the end I thought that, well, I couldn't find a win. There was another variation too, with maybe going after the fortresses and the oracles that I calculated, but that too didn't have the win in it. It only had a tie, and using the ironworks just to gain junk like farmer's market or taxman or something. But that variation too only took me to a tie, so I decided to go the other way, just piling out the border village and getting the oracles, because, well, we're playing triumphal arc. However, those of you who are astute and sharp enough would realize that there's a slight miscalculation in what I've just told you. If you want, you could pause the video and think about it. But if you don't want to pause, I'll tell you right now what the miscalculation was. Is that following the line of double oracle gain, border village into duchy by duchy, doesn't actually get me 12 points. It gets me 14 points, which is enough for a win. The extra 2 points comes from duchy being a unique in the deck, and the museum gives me the 2 points. So I played most of this third turn thinking that I had to accept a tie, and then at the very end when I bought the border village, gained a duchy, I noticed that I had 41 points instead of 39 points and was confused momentarily, happy but confused still, and I just decided to buy the duchy and finish out the game on the win. And then after I realized, oh, that's where the extra 2 points came from, the museum. So that's how this game ends. Sneaky, cheeky pile out from me here. I'm not sure what other options my opponent had. Maybe he could let me know at this point, but these were the options that I had, and luckily I was able to come out with the win here. So border village into duchy, and you see my points go up and my emotions as well, and picking up the last duchy for the win. So that is game 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.